Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is a game recently released by Bandai Namco Entertainment, developed by CyberConnect 2 for the PS4, Xbox One, and the PC, exclusively for those consoles. Okay, and you know the game. We've all been very, very excited for the game. Everyone in the Naruto community, I think people in various other communities have been very excited for the game. And you on Twitter, you see, I think one of the Twitters that are representing the game, it might be Naruto Video Games, I'm not sure, has been tweeting out multiple tweets from different companies, YouTubers, or people saying that the game is amazing, or people saying like, wow, what almost perfect experience. Oh, there's perfect, and then right after that there's Storm 4, and there's nothing in between. What? Not even, like, nothing could be in between Storm and perfect. It's almost there. Those kinds of comments, basically, you get, obviously, with just less characters. And I have the game. I've been playing the game for a little bit, and there are some issues that aren't being spoken about all that much outside of like the YouTuber community, and I thought I'd do a video to put those out into the forefront. Let me be completely honest here, full disclosure, I wrote like a 3-page script to for this, not straight up just for me to read, more for me to just, like, if I ever get lost in what I'm talking about, to just go back and look at and kind of figure out where I am and what I'm trying to say in general. But I reset my PC because my Blue Yeti wasn't connecting to the PC for whatever reason. After saving the file, after saving the file onto my desktop, when I turned my PC back on, to be completely honest, open the file, it's completely blank, which is BS because it's saved even under the right save name that I have. I just can't get that text back now, so I have to do this from the start, and I don't have any good jokes prepared. So we're going to see if I remember all the things that are wrong with Naruto Storm 4, which, to be fair, aren't that many things, and I know that I've had salt on my fingers as I type tweets all this, like, for the last 2 weeks. If you've seen my Twitter, at Pineapple Prez, you've seen some of the things that I've been tweeting out about being disappointed in the release for Naruto Storm 4, both on the side of Bandai EU and Bandai US. People going to events and getting tons of footage that, you know, I would do the same thing, but it just shouldn't be allowed. And reps up to S. for getting the footage. I just feel like, you know, and he was told to take the footage down, so it's like, you gotta do better with the security of these events. I know before there was an event where I think a demo or something was stolen actually from one of the press consoles, like that kind of stuff. I get that Bandai wants to be a very lax company when it comes to these events, but you know, you gotta kind of crack down on certain things that are going on within the community, because people like me and other YouTubers will take advantage of that. And you know, it's obviously disappointing when that happens to everyone else in the community. It's good for us, and you know, if we're being selfish and whatnot, it's good for us. And even maybe not, I don't want to call it selfish, but it's good for us, and it's not so great for the community. I guess S.'s example is way better for the community, because I think the community does want to see gameplay, but it kind of just sucks for everyone else. But and in the long run for him, because I think he was told to take the videos down. Not sure if he did or not. You know, I don't think Bandai is gonna force him to, but you know, I think he was told to take the videos down. He said so on Twitter, and I didn't really keep up with it after that. And tons of other people uploaded them anyway. Okay. So obviously, look, it's gonna sound biased and bitter if I say anything bad about the game. So I'm just gonna be bringing forward criticisms that multiple people have for the game. There's petitions for these things, or people are talking about them or complaining about them in the community hub. And I thought I could bring attention to them with my platform, or our platform, the ShonenGameZ platform. And that's something that I intend to do. Okay, so, and look how properly I'm speaking, actually. I don't have a script or anything in front of me. I'm just reading from the inside of my brain. I'm doing a pretty good job, and you can tell by the tangent I just went on. So, you load up the game, correct? And the first thing you're hoping when you're loading up the game is that it's properly optimized. Some other, you know, entries in the Storm series on PC haven't been proper, like, you know, all that well optimized, really. They haven't been, like, the best, so sometimes you'll get slowdowns even though you know your computer can handle it. And let's say you are you, and your computer could run Xenoverse at 60 frames per second on high settings, or let's say you're TGZ, who's in that exact situation. When you load up Naruto Storm 4, you haven't had a chance to touch any settings because the settings are in the game's option menu. you're just hoping that the game runs well. And when you load it up and you see your game dipping to 15 frames per second at the start menu screen, you already know you're in for a bad adventure, right? So there is this issue that is plaguing a few users where all of their menus will uncontrollably lag and the frame will drop. There's also another issue where like screen tearing will happen really badly on anything with a white background. There's issues like that, and I think TGZ ended up getting it to work a little better. And he should be able to play Storm 4. He definitely meets the minimum requirement settings, and I think he pretty much easily meets the recommended requirement settings. I have an overkill PC, so I haven't had any issues with the game. But before I opened the game, I did make sure that all my drivers were up to date and that I had what is it called, threaded optimization ready for the game. So that's when you go into the NVIDIA control panel and you make it so the game and your CPU, I would assume, kind of work better together, and it's making more use of your CPU. And I did overclock for the game anyway, so I don't feel like I really needed to, because I could run the Division beta at basically max settings on my PC. But you get what I mean. Like there's a little bit of a wonky situation going on right now. I think the unofficial fix is to update your graphics card, and definitely if you have an NVIDIA card, go to NVIDIA control panel. Go to Manage 3D Settings and set your threaded optimization on for Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 and pretty much any other game that you play. I mean, it'll always give you a boost in performance as far as I know. Maybe there are some examples where it doesn't. Another issue that is in the game, right? You start playing the game, and the first cutscene right away off the bat in the story mode, delicious. I ate it up. It was delicious, right? Because we've played the demo before, but playing it on PC, like I've been personally playing it, you don't really have the issues with the lag that you had in the PS4 demo with the same boss battle. So it was more enjoyable, and there was a nice little setup and there was a QTE right at the beginning, and starting off fresh. And after a little bit, you start seeing these anime stills as cutscenes. And what I mean by anime stills is they take screenshots from the anime, right? They subtitle them, they voice them, or they probably just, they voiced them. I almost thought they took them from the anime. They voiced them, and then they add little effects like blood splatters or water dripping down from a stalagmite or maybe a stalactite, because I don't know the difference, because I'm me. So little things like that, some dust in the air, some smoke, but it's still a still image. You know what I mean? It's still a still image, and not even a still image recreated by Studio Bones or Periat for the game, like you would have in Generations or Revolution, I believe, with their Ninja Escapades mode. These were taken directly from the anime, which we all know as fans of Naruto. I'm not sure if you are specifically watching this video. The animation for Naruto goes from about 0 to 100 back to negative 50. Between every episode. Any given episode could be amazing looking, so it kind of makes it weird that they're anime stills, and a lot of them are like varying in quality. And just the fact that this is again a numbered Storm title, correct? So in previous titles we've had just tons of these beautifully animated CGI cutscenes or 3D cutscenes, not CGI because I'm pretty sure they used the models, right? So we've had these wonderful things, and I'm sure there's been like cuts of anime stills in there and whatnot, but I don't feel like they've ever been used. And to their credit, they are used nicely in this game, but I feel like Storm 3 really spoiled us with the amount of 3D cutscenes that there were in the game, and how it covered and of course I'm yawning, how it covered the scope of the game, even though that game did end with a non-canon ending. So this game obviously has all of these anime cutscenes, which are just stills. So that's already a red flag for YouTubers. And I've heard some people that are, I always try to get opinions from YouTubers like myself, but I always try to get also opinions from people who are more casual, who are just getting the game to have fun with it. They're kind of fans of the series, or people who are really good fans of the series. I try to get, an opinion from like everyone. And the general opinion I've seen is that it feels very lazy, especially for a game that was delayed from October to February. And maybe not October exactly, but still, fall 2015 it was marketed for. It ended up coming out in February 2016, early in the month. And I just feel like, there's not really a good case to be made for why you had to do anime stills. CyberConnect 2, bad idea. Hopefully in your next title we'll have something a little more creative. Which sadly, near the end of the game actually has like these gorgeous, and it reminds me of Storm 3 or Storm 2, where there's just these gorgeous scenes between Gai Sensei and Madara, or even the Naruto versus Sasuke boss battle. Naruto versus Sasuke boss battle is literally everything that you as a Naruto fan could want it to be in this game. It's absolutely gorgeous. They just do tons of stuff with it. There's tons of fan service in the game, right? But there are also flaws that it's okay for you to point out. Another flaw that's in the game is rampant copy and pasting. And we've seen this with Awakening actions, and I believe it was Revolution or Storm 3, where a lot of the characters' Awakening actions were just kind of animations taken from other characters. And I remember people remember from Ultimate Ninja 3 where you could basically give Chidori to anybody. In this game, anyone that has fire style nature can use fire style fireball jutsu or stuff like that. And that's not a bad touch, you know what I mean? It just feels a little when when everyone has certain jutsus. But it's not bad to be able to choose from multiple jutsus. What is bad, what I see as copying pasting that is bad, is the fact that an entire section, like an entire battle from Naruto Storm 3, was grabbed and pasted into Naruto Storm 4. Okay? So the Minato versus the Masked Man section of Naruto Storm 3, which was actually the demo, I believe, for Naruto Storm 3, if I'm not mistaken, was just clicked and dragged basically into Naruto Storm 4 with a few extra clips of narration by Obito Uchiha's voice actor, and another very brief scene between him and Zetsu, and like very, very, very little changes. Like, you don't, when Call of Duty Ghost, I think they used the skeletons for their character models. If you don't know what skeletons are, it's basically like without the models themselves, like without the skins of the models and all that, there's just a wireframe animation. So they used a wireframe animation from, I believe, Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2 or 3. I'm pretty sure it was one of those. And they used it in Call of Duty Ghost, and the Call of Duty community lost their proverbial shits. But, in this community, it's kind of okay when stuff like that happens. I don't see why it would be okay for a company to literally copy and paste a section from their last game and post it in this one. But, I feel like that's not going to be something that anyone's going to try to hold them accountable for. So, that's just what it is. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Maybe that's a nitpick. I'm trying not to have any bad bad nitpicks. If I nitpick, let me know in the comment section below. I hope they're all good nitpicks, right? Another thing that I completely forgot to mention that was really early on in the script was the lack of 60 frame support for the game. Now, look, I wasn't expecting the game to be 60 frames per second by any degree. I've been telling people for a long time this game's not going to be 60, mainly due to the fact that modders for Storm Revolution Storm 3 have said for a while the animations are not made to be 60 frames per second. They're just not built for it, and if you put the game in 60, it's going to fuck up the animations. It's going to mess up the animations, excuse me. Wow, that's great that I did that. And anyway, regardless, it's going to mess up the animations, right? So CC2 has said that they, in scans, and I feel like in interviews, that they rebuilt the engine for Storm, which I've known from the beginning to be a complete lie. What they've done is they took the PC port of Revolution, or maybe even Storm 3. They took the PC port. They developed using the PC port, which is just a port from the consoles, remind you. It's not built from the ground up for PC. I mean, obviously there's some work to be done when you're porting a game from PS3 or Xbox 360 to PC. But once they had it there, it was a pretty stable-ish build. They took the PC port and they worked on that. And then they ported that over to PS4 and Xbox One and probably toned down the settings from there. Because the files that are in the game, when you go into the game's files, are the same files from any of the other Storm games. You still have the same file type names and all that stuff from various characters that have been in all the other games and all that stuff like that. So what they've done is they changed the particle effect settings and kind of, in the game engine and whatnot. They've made some changes, but they've also made some fairly bad changes. And we're going to get to those in a minute. So I didn't see it ever being 60. There was a lot of talk right before release and on the community hub and on Twitch streams. This Twitch streamer Lyric lied to everyone on his stream for some reason, telling them that it was 60 frames per second. Could have just been for attention. Who knows? The things people, and this, this guy has tons of followers and whatnot, so maybe it's not for attention. Maybe it was just to hype people up, or maybe he was just confused, because to be fair, the game does run very smoothly. The game feels incredibly smooth. It feels a little faster than every storm entry, so maybe to an untrained eye, it could seem like 60, but I feel like when you see 60, it's 60. Okay, so that's just a minor gripe that I have with the game. That's probably a bad nitpick, that it's not 60, even though I didn't expect for it to be 60. If you're gonna tout that you rebuilt the engine and did all this and then delayed the game for an entire season basically, and you've not really, there's no really fruit to your labor, I mean, it's not all that acceptable, right? Especially not to me, because I feel like I'm more cynical than other people. So like, I'm not gonna, and this isn't a review, mind you. This is just me voicing things that I know that the community is upset about, and this is things that I've come across in the game, and various glitches of that nature. Another thing that people are very upset about is the fact that online, right? Online, and before I even get into it, online, amazing this time around. I've had very minimal lag with people from like different countries and stuff, which used to be a problem before. Character select comes up like that. Stage select comes up like that. Starting the match is very quick and intuitive. And the game is made very well. Like leader change and all that is made very well. But let's say like one issue online is the names. Like your name, let's say you're playing on PS4, your PSN ID is just white text on top of where your character's name would usually be, but there's no black line around it. So there's no black outline around this white text, so it makes it hard to see on most maps. And that's the same for your opponent. Your opponent, you can't really see their name. So, but maybe they didn't have the outline so that you could, not hit up that person and message them to talk about the issues of the game or something. Who knows? That's just a joke. Don't take that seriously. Another thing that they kind of ruined, and this is I think one of the major problems with the mindset of CyberConnect 2. They do add a lot to these games, but it seems like with every entry since Storm, I want to say 3, they've decided, let's take away content. So what they've done in previous games is they've taken away a combo. They took away, no, actually from Storm 1, because they've taken away clashing. They've taken away wall running and various things that have been in other games that could have been improved upon in future titles, and they've completely stripped them away. So in Revolution, they took away the ability to sit in the tournament mode, like, in Storm 3 and in Storm Generations, where it worked absolutely perfectly. I know there were some bugs, and I know that kind of contradicts what I just said, but the bugs were related more to people's connections in the lobby, not to tournament mode itself. So you can't watch anyone's tournament in Revolution. Like if you're in tournament mode with 7 other people, the first person's match, everyone's match is happening at the same time, when originally you were able to watch each individual match, and that was fun for people who were in parties. That encouraged people to talk to each other, to be in the same lobby together, and to just have a general conversation and enjoy a match and commentate on a match. So when they took that out in Revolution, what people did is they hosted semi tournaments or whatever in the endless mode online. Shut up, Bart, too. And so when people started doing that, hey, look, now we can watch each other's battles again and commentate and have this fun time that we were having that we can no longer have on tournament mode. I know of several YouTubers, such as like Zobi70, who literally couldn't play Revolution competitively or online because the lack of the spectate mode in the tournament, and that's one of his favorite modes to play. And when he heard that that wasn't fixed in Revolution, in Storm 4, canceled his pre-order, I believe. And not only was it not fixed, but now you can't even watch each other's fights in the endless mode on online. And that's kind of one of the major points of endless, isn't it, guys? Like, isn't that one of the major things that you do in endless? Isn't that kind of one of the reasons? Because why not just do a player battle at that point? I get it. You lose, the next person comes in. But really, you get a few player matches in, because now you can't even watch each other's matches. Now you have to just sit there while the people are having their match and just sit there. What are you supposed to do? I don't know if this is a tactic to get people to buy some Bandai mobile games. I don't know if this is a tactic to get people to go outside and work out a little more often, because, people like Gamaholic in the community are really fit. Like, I don't know what the idea behind taking away this like the spectate feature in endless, let alone in tournament mode, right? I don't know where that decision came from, and you would hope that something that worked pretty easily in Naruto Storm 3 and Naruto Storm Generations, and now even Naruto Storm Revolution would be in Naruto Storm 4, especially since this game is being pushed to better hardware. It's pushed to the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC, and it's supposed to be optimized for those 3 consoles and not hold back anything due to being on the last generation console, since it's not on the last generation console. So you would expect this to be a better iteration, but it just isn't. And in many ways it is. The facial expressions in the game are amazing. Like, tons of things in the game are amazing. The particle effects are beautiful. Chakra is beautiful. There was a lot of graphical updates to the way fire looks and stuff, but even that was just taken from different fire effects in Storm 3 or Storm Revolution. They're just added on. These aren't brand new fire effects. They're just added on. And I know that's a nitpick, but you know what I mean? There's just a lot of rampant copy and pasting, and then there's a lot of things that we want improved in the game, and they just straight out remove them. Look at the removal of all of the support characters. Instead of venturing to make all of these characters playable, even by DLC, because I know people would have paid for them, they've just taken them out of the game because, maybe it's just a hassle to make all these characters into playable characters on top of the roster of new characters that we got. But comparable to any other Storm game, the roster of new playable characters that we got in this game is rather small. You know what I mean? So there's some issues with the game. I generally enjoy the game. I've been saying to people, like, from my experience of the game, I'm probably gonna end up giving it a 7.5 or something in my review, maybe a 7. But I do generally like the game, and I don't like that there's so much space in this game where you feel like you have to distract yourself by doing something else, and the game is supposed to be the distraction. And I don't understand why CyberConnect 2 and Bandai Namco Entertainment's mindset sets you away from that. I should be looking at this game constantly when I'm playing it, when it's loaded up on Steam, on my PS4 and an Xbox One. I should be paying attention to the game. When I'm playing the Division beta, I'm always looking at the game. When I'm playing an anime gaming fighter, I should be always looking at the game. There's the Ebisu 50 Feats of Strength quest, which, it was advertised in the scans, and, I know people are going to say it's a mistranslation or whatnot, but it's been translated by multiple sources, and now that, it ended up being something else, we're the only people that are standing by our translations on this. We're always going to stand by our translation unless we find out that there's something wrong with the translations. Then we step up to the plate, we get the translation verified by someone else, and we see what it is. So Ebisu's 50 Feats of Strength was translated in a way that suggested that you'd be unlocking some type of shinobi or a secret character, and then other members of the community also jumped in acting like they had information that they didn't have and made it seem like, yeah, this was the case, right? And it ended up not being the case, obviously. So you do all 50 of those feats for a player card, basically a Ninja Info card for your online character of Hiruzen, and it's like, why now? What incentive do I have for doing these 50 things for this character that honestly is incredibly relevant to the Naruto series? Doesn't really have all that many fans, Why would I even do that interaction now? There's no reason for me to do it, because it just seems like a waste of time, unless I'm a complete completionist, which I'm sure that there are, but there should be. You would think that, like in any of the other games, in Naruto Storm 3, there was a quest where you found these orbs or something for like a toad or something, and every time you brought a few back, you'd unlock a few characters to roam with you in adventure mode, and by the end, you unlocked the fragment chapter with I believe it was Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke, and it was cool, and there was tons to do, but I just feel like there's a lot of time wasting in the adventure mode, and I feel like a lot of people just aren't gonna go to the adventure mode. And that's just sad. And another thing that they copy and pasted was these 3 boss battles. I'm going to use an example. The Ten Tails boss battle, where you're playing as Kurama. The Madara Susanoo boss battle, where you're playing as, I believe, Susanoo Sasuke. And the Kaguya Part 2 boss battle, where you're playing as Kamui Kakashi in his Susanoo. The 3 of these battles are so incredibly similar that it got boring by the time I got to the second one, and the third one completely bored me. So that's why I like Kaguya Part 1 better than Part 2. What takes place in these battles is basically you're on a rail shooter. Maybe not a rail shooter, but you're you're flying around, and I think there was a similar battle in Storm 3, and I didn't like it in Storm 3. So, there was a rail shooter in Storm 2, which I also didn't like. So whenever they kind of put these shooting elements in these games, like, I don't like it. I don't want a shooter in my 3D anime fighter. You understand? Like, it's not a good mix. The hack and slash portions of the game are a good mix. It felt great destroying all those Jubi clones with Gamabunta and Gamakichi and Aoda and Tatsuya or Katsuyu, my bad. It felt good doing those things, but then I get to these sections of the game that are supposed to be these fulfilling moments, right? One of your final boss battles, two of your final boss battles, really, and a battle against a giant enemy, and all you're doing is running around, pressing the chakra button, and holding the kunai button, and shooting at different points on their bodies, whether it's the Jubi's eyeballs, whether it's at the different clones of Limbo Susanos that Madara has, which I know you can fly up to and slash and attack, and they try to mix it up a little bit, but the bread and butter of what it is still basically a copy and paste of the Jubi boss battle. And also the Kaguya boss battle, where you have to just keep shooting her arms off, or shooting the different heads of the tail beasts as they come out of the giant rabbit beast or whatever. It all felt too similar to each other, and I couldn't enjoy it as much as I would have enjoyed just some very unique boss battles, and a lot of the boss battles in this, I don't know, they're beautifully animated. Night Guy versus Madara, beautiful. Naruto versus Sasuke, amazing. Obito versus Kakashi, awesome. But there are just some of the set pieces in this game just feel too similar to others, and it doesn't really work when you have set pieces that are similar to other set pieces that just don't work. You know what I mean? So, but that's just my opinion. And is there anything else? I mean, look, and I don't want to. I know this is regardless going to sway people on whether or not they feel like they should get the game. I would suggest you wait for the review. But obviously, that's just that's because I'm a writer of ShonenGameZ.com, the heart of the anime game community, where you can come. And I had a nice little plug for this in the script, and I obviously don't have it anymore. But shameless self plug aside, right? Should you get Naruto Storm 4? Right now, I can't really give you a verdict. If you feel like you should get it, get it. If you don't, wait and see for a little bit. Wait and see if these issues that are rampant in the game, and more so the issues of what is it? The text not being readable online and issues like that. If stuff like that kind of bothers you, maybe wait for a patch or something, or for something to release, or an official statement from Bandai Namco. Wait for little things like that to be released, and hopefully they'll be good at patching the game and keeping up with the game, and checking feedback from various other members of the community. Not just me, because I know obviously I'm the kind of guy who goes on Twitter rants and I say mean things, but it really comes from a place of, well, anger, yes, but it comes from a place of I want, and I know ShonenGameZ as a YouTube channel, as a website, we're not like Narutuber, technically, we're not really a Narutuber, but me and TGZ both come from that Narutuba background, and we come from that background, so we really appreciate these games. And I've been playing the Ultimate Ninja series since Ultimate Ninja 2, I believe. I was a Clash of Ninja boy growing up, and so we're really big fans of these games, just like how Rhyme is an incredible fan of the DBZ Budokai series, or of those games. We're big fans of the Ultimate Ninja series. TGZ used to come to my house when I first got my PS3 and couldn't afford to get Storm 1, because I was a bit younger. I wasn't out there doing me and trying to do the best that I could do, and obviously money was tight. He would come to my house and take a 30-minute bus to come to my house, and take turns fighting each other in the Storm 1 demo with PTS Naruto and Kakashi on the same training day map with the same supports over and over again, and we would do that for hours. And that's the kind of excitement that we had for the Storm series, and it just sucks that over time the games have improved a lot, and the games have changed a lot, but that excitement has also changed. And it could just be because we're YouTubers and we have to cover the game in a certain way, but I feel like other people don't have that excitement either. People are definitely hyped for the game. There's definitely a general hype for the game, bordering on corniness. And when there's a corny hype for a game, there's a crazy good hype for the game. But I just feel like to a certain degree, that excitement that I had as a younger child fan of the series, the Storm series itself, is just it's not gone, but it's definitely dwindled. And I feel like that's an opinion shared with the three of us at Shonen. It's just, it sucks, and I hope that the next series that hopefully CyberConnect 2 is going to be doing, but maybe it's time to pass the Ultimate Ninja series on to another developer like Arc System or someone, or someone or who will change it up. What I really don't want is a Musou game, but that's a completely other video to make, and that seems like kind of a video that I would start yelling and cursing in, because I really hate Musou games. But that's a personal opinion. I shouldn't be sharing that right here on the Shonen channel without first having the other two guys on to talk about that, which we do talk about on the Shonen podcast, which will be returning after we get our brand new site redesign around February 18th, hopefully coinciding with the release of Attack on Titan on PS4, which you should definitely come back to our channel and website to check out. And that was the shameless self-plug from the script, and I remembered it. So, obviously, this is a long video. If you stuck through this entire video, you are awesome. I'm not going to be monetizing this video, obviously. I want you guys to give us feedback, especially me, because I'm very, very vocal, and I'm very, very into the shonen community. I'm in these comments. I stream. I'm always in the stream comments. We're going to be streaming some Storm Force soon. I'm honestly thinking about starting a secondary shonen channel. I'm not really sure what to call it yet. I think ShonenGameZ Plus or ShonenGameZ Extra or something. Those are two names that I'm kind of shifting around. But if you have a better name for it, throw it in the comment section. If you think that'd be a good idea to start another channel where we do videos like this that are more commentary based, or with other members of the community where we do dual comms, because ShonenGameZ is primarily just a gaming channel. We just post gameplay. We don't really do all that much input personally, because it's kind of better in a way for the channel not to have a voice of its own. But if we're going to be the quote-unquote heart of the anime gaming community, I feel like we have to a certain degree, have a voice into the community. And with the YouTube channel the way it currently is, we don't really have that. And with the site, we have that, but it's sort of diminished. We have to have like a public presence on YouTube. And I really do feel like starting another channel would be better than just trying to kind of add on to this channel with a whole nother thing. So, yeah, having another channel would be great, and then having other people come on to that channel and obviously always give you guys fresh content would be awesome. So I'm not going to be monetizing this video, just so you don't have to sit through ads and hear me talk and have like a NyQuil ad or something and be completely disillusioned to what I'm talking about in the video. Hopefully you didn't find this incredibly boring, because if you know me on my personal channel, I'm very vulgar. I'm very, I come out, I'm very bashful or brash. I'm not really sure which one of those, but I'm out there. I'm in your face, and I yell and I say things, and I'm like the angry little Mexican that could, even though I'm not Mexican. But I'm like a little jumping bean, and I know some people are going to be thrown off by the fact that I'm here and I'm being very serious, and we're discussing things for 30 minutes and I'm just talking and talking and talking and talking. But hopefully you did find enjoyment and you were informed at this video. And, hopefully we can continue to do things like this as a community. And hopefully these issues are fixed in the next release or whatever they're planning on doing. And definitely in this release with patches, because we're very early on. The game just dropped today, technically, on the PC, even though some people had it yesterday. So yeah, check out our walkthrough if you're into it. You'll feel free to check it out anywhere else. We're going to be posting a few things, but we're definitely going to be streaming with other members of the community. This has been a really long outro, so I'm just going to say bye. It's HGZ of ShonenGameZ. I'll see you guys later, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.